I'm going to demonstrate a few yoga poses and stretches that I particularly like, especially if I've been sitting all day long and haven't been doing a lot of movement. One of the main things you want to remember is to go slow when you're doing your stretches. I'm going to start off with hand stirring. Hands are together. I'm going to lean forward, and my goal here is to try and get as much mobility in my spine as possible. I'm going to stretch forward to really stretch out my arms. I can move into cat-cow. Again, the goal here is to really stretch my spine out, get it moving nice and easy. I'm going to go into a high kneeling position, and again, my cat and cow. Really stretching out, extending in both directions. You can do those as many times as you like, taking a break and breathing. And then now come to the front. If I've been sitting, my psoas muscle is really tight and my lower back is usually pretty sore. So I came up with this stretch to help with that. To make it less intense, I can spread out the fabric on my chest. It's a little trickier to get into it like that. But basically what I want to do is have it stretch over the soft part of my stomach. I'm going to do a supporting cobra. And then I'm going to go into a child's pose. This is doing two things. It's stretching the front of my chest, and it's compressing where my psoas muscle is and stretching my lower back. I can have it here, bunched together, and again, same thing. Stretching forward. You want to really get your head up and then bring back child's pose. Now at this point, I'm going to also activate my back muscles. So I'm going to have the hammock a little bit lower. I'm going to lean forward. I want it on my hip bones. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I want to be right underneath my point, my suspension point. You want the fabric in the crease where your hips meet and your thigh meets your torso. You lift up one leg, the other leg, do a flutter kick here. You can do slow kicks. And eventually, I'm going to be balancing here, engaging my back muscles and my thigh muscles. I can push off and do a gentle swing, which is fun to do my balance. Now, I want to stretch out my arms. So I'm going to take the fabric behind my back, and I'm going to grab onto it and stretch my arms to the side. I'm going to spread out my fingers and really stretch my arms out. Take my hands and wrap them around twice. I'll lean forward in the supported cobra. I'm going to take this one really nice and easy. To the side, stretch forward. If I take one of the hand wraps off, it's going to be a deeper stretch into my back. It's going to be up to you how far you go with that one. And again, I want to stretch out the nerve flossing and bring it back to the front. At this point, I'm going to be sitting in the hammock. So I want to swish around the fabric and gather up about 5 handfuls of fabric. Sit down. And lay completely in the hammock, all the way over. Very relaxing. I can move back and forth. I can wiggle. I can Roll up and extend out. There's a lot of things you can do when you're just laying in the fabric as a cocoon. My goal is to stretch out my shoulders. So I'm going to lay back, bring my hands overhead, and back down. The fabric is rolling down my back as I move my arms, and I want this to happen because it's giving me a little back massage. I bring it all the way down. Since I'm low to the floor, I can rest here. It's quite a bit of a stretch on the front side of my body, and there is compression on my spine, so I don't want to stay here very long. I'm going to go ahead and stand up, and I want to do a back balance. So I'm going to have the fabric over my hips, hanging on, right close to my hips. I'm going to lower myself down, and I can swing, keeping my head neutral. You can also sit up and swing if you'd like. Next, I'm going to do the shoulder stretch with my hips up, swinging forward and back. Having a little bit of a flow here. Sit down, slide the hammock up to my head. By just resting my head in the hammock, I can lower my shoulders, relaxing. There's just a tiny bit of traction on my neck. I don't want to stay here for very long. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to put my feet up. You can spread the hammock along the lower parts of your leg. And again, you gently swing your legs side to side. You're going to feel movement in your spine, which is the goal. Gather up so just your heels are in there. I'm going to go to this side so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to roll down. And bend my knees, lifting my hips. I can go higher up and roll down. Now, I'm going to really stretch my leg and arms to the side. I'm coming around. This is opening up the front of my hips, stretching up. Again, lunge will really open my thigh out. I can bring the front heel forward, maybe open up this hip here. I'm going to go back down the way it came up. So I'm going to lower myself down. Move my arm here, stretching my shoulder out, and an arm arc around. And my foot up. And that on either side. So I'm going to bring my arm around, rolling into my stomach. This really stretches out my shoulder and the front of my hips. Lunge, move my heel out for a hip stretch. Going back the way I came. These are just some of the poses that you can do. You can use your imagination. What I have here is a 5-yard hammock. I've got a 2-inch foam back carpet, a yoga mat, and I'm working with a portable stand inside. It's your option how far you go and what you do. There's quite a lot of variety to the ways you can use your hammock. This is using it low to the ground.